Albert M. Ewart was hired as a chaplain in the early 1930s, and he reached souls in many ways, religion as well as through the arts. The inmates broadcast a Sunday morning radio program, and a prison jazz and barbershop quartet became so popular they both were hired on weekends to perform at weddings and parties and in restaurants and nightclubs. In 1928, construction of the new facility at 4000 Cooper Street began. The last of the inmates were moved to the new facility in 1935. The old prison was empty until it was used as an armory during World War II, Vietnam and the Gulf War eras. A old map of Wayne County #Michigan, 1860. 1889, last stagecoach holdup in Michigan. #Michigan. Did you know? These 5 creepy asylums in Michigan from the state's past are quite disturbing. By Serena Maria Daniels. 2. Eloise Asylum, Westland. Explore the tunnels underneath this asylum. Also known as the Wayne County Infirmary, Psychiatric, and General Hospital Complex, this once sprawling asylum served the invalid and mentally ill for more than 150 years. #Abandoned in the 70s, the facility #remained a spooky oddity for thrill-seeking teens, where it was said that #discarded medical waste and even #human #bodies remained. The place has since been razed and turned into a golf course. Check out a paranormal investigation of the #Eloise Asylum via #The Potter's House, #The Potter's Field, #Train Tunnels, #House of Digs, #Butler Cemetery, #William Ganong Cemetery, #Henry Ruff RD, #Westland, #Michigan, #Wayne County, #Chicago Road, #Michigan Avenue. Among the most significant plants introduced by the indigenous people to the colonists of North America was tobacco. The wealth Spain acquired from their colonies and the enslavement and sale of indigenous people encouraged England to establish their own presence in the New World. The first 2 colonies, Popham and Roanoke Colony, failed, but the third, Jamestown, founded in Virginia in 1607 CE, succeeded. The Plymouth Colony followed, founded in 1620 CE in Massachusetts and, afterwards, the basic regions of European control in the Americas, in spite or periodic conflicts, were established until the French and Indian War, 1754 to 1763 CE, via #the Great Lakes region, which resulted in significant reformation and English control of the entire eastern seaboard of the modern-day United States. Via #Michigan, #Canada. The colonization is recognized as initiating the Columbian Exchange, a modern-day term coined in 1972 CE by the historian Alfred W. Crosby of the University of Texas at Austin, referring to the cross-cultural transmission of animals, crops, disease, technology, cultural values, and human populations between the Americas, West Africa, and Europe. Among the most significant plants introduced by the indigenous people to the colonists of North America was tobacco, which, because it was labor-intensive and required considerable arable land to cultivate, resulted in hostilities between the Europeans and natives as more and more land was taken, deforestation as land was cleared, and the institutionalization of slavery by circa 1640 CE. Already established by the Spanish in Central and South America earlier as part of the feudal encomienda system of forced labor. The history of the conquest and colonization of the Americas was later written by the victors, which cast their efforts in a noble light in the interests of exploration, civilization, and conversion of the indigenous people to Christianity. In the modern era, this narrative has been challenged and initiatives proposed to recognize the cultural losses and human rights abuses of the Native Americans and West Africans by the European colonizers, but, so far, nothing significant has come of these efforts.